Question is that new clause 70 be read a second time. Mr. Dominic Grieve.
Thank you, Ms Lang. I wasn't sure I was intending to speak at any great length on this. I listened very carefully to the Honourable Lady, the member for North Down, and I found myself in complete agreement with all the sentiments she expressed about the benefits that the Good Friday Agreement has conferred on our country generally, and indeed on our international relations with the Irish Republic. It has been a step change in improving the quality of life for all citizens in this country, and particularly for those in Northern Ireland, on which she spoke so eloquently. And it's also quite clear that the process of Brexit is a challenging one in the context of maintaining those benefits. And I rather regret that in the course of the referendum last year, those of us who highlighted the potential consequences that could flow from it didn't perhaps get as much register as we would have liked, because it seemed to me that in that cost-benefit analysis that one has to make between staying in the EU and leaving the EU, it was a factor that we ought properly to be taking into account, but I regret to say seems to have been systematically ignored by some of the enthusiasts for our leaving the European Union. But we are where we are, and as I've also indicated, it's clear that we are going to have to try to manage the Brexit process in a way which does not adversely impact on the Good Friday Agreement. Now, I listened carefully to those honourable gentlemen and members for the DUP, representing the DUP in this House, and I can well understand that any suggestion that might be made that leaving the EU involves uncoupling Northern Ireland into a separate regulatory regime for the benefit of maintaining the Good Friday Agreement, or indeed maintaining regulatory equivalence with the Republic of Ireland, is a complete non-starter. Totally unacceptable to me, but I have to say I did not understand the Prime Minister's words and the agreement she reached as being indicative that she was intending to do any such thing. If she was, all I can say is that she's not long going to survive the views of her own political party, which, as far as I can see, are unanimous on this, irrespective of whether the members concerned were those who most enthusiastically embraced Brexit or most vigorously sought to prevent it. So I think we need to park that to one side. Where the Honourable Lady is absolutely right is that that then raises a major challenge. There's no point in pretending it can just be magicked away by soft words. We are going to have to face up to the consequences of our adherence to the Good Friday Agreement in the way Brexit unfolds and is done, and the regulatory equivalence is one part of it. Now, that said, I very much hope that when the Honourable Lady comes to listen to the response from the ministers on the front bench, she will get the sufficient reassurance that the United Kingdom government understands that very well indeed. And I have to say, unless I'm being misled by my honourable and right honourable friends on the front bench, I really think they do. The problem will remain that is going to require us, as we proceed with Brexit, from time to time to have to face up to some of the realities that Brexit brings with it in a regulatory context, because without it, we can't fulfil the obligations that we have under the Good Friday Agreement. That's the reality check. And the problem has always been, in the debate that we've had in this House, is that too often I hear comments that are mired in a fantasy vision of what people would like in an ideal world that bears no relationship to the reality of our international obligations and the reality of our mutual interdependence with our closest neighbours, one of which happens to be the Republic of Ireland, which we are blessed to enjoy a good relationship with. If we keep those factors in mind, we will both maintain what is best for our country and also succeed in carrying out this highly risky operation of Brexit and do it as successfully as we may. And all I wanted to say was to thank the Honourable Lady for having very properly raised this issue in the debate that we're having this afternoon. And I look forward to hearing from my right honourable friends on the front bench, with a response that reaffirms that our commitment to the agreement and our commitment to maintaining peace on the island of Ireland collectively, and good relations with one of our closest neighbours and closest trading partners, is paramount in the way in which we approach this problem.
Hear, hear.